My sister laughed and said I'd be begging on streets by 40 at every family barbecue. So I became a philanthropist worth $100 million, and yesterday I saw her holding a sign on the corner near my charity office. Hey, before we dive deeper, hit that subscribe button and drop your location in the comments. I want to know how far our stories travel. The smell of charcoal and barbecue sauce hung thick in Mama's backyard that 4th of July, but I couldn't taste any of it. My sister Laura stood by the grill, holding court like she always did, her MBA diploma practically tattooed on her forehead. I just told the family I was leaving my stable bank teller job to start a tech consulting business. 26 years old, and I'd never seen my family look at me with such pity. "Shayna, baby," Aunt Gloria said, touching my arm like I'd announced a terminal illness. "You sure about this? Bank's got benefits." Laura laughed, that sharp, cutting sound I'd grown to hate. "Y'all might as well get used to it now. This girl's gonna be begging on streets by the time she's 40. Mark my words." The whole family went quiet. Daddy shifted uncomfortably. Mama suddenly found the potato salad fascinating. Nobody defended me. Not one person. My cousin Amos even snickered into his beer. "What's so funny?" I asked, my voice barely steady. "Come on, Shay," Laura said, flipping a burger with theatrical confidence. "You got a community college degree and a dream. I got a Wharton MBA and a corner office at Henderson and Price. We are not the same." She said it like she was stating the weather. 23 family members watched me, waiting for my response, and all I could do was set down my untouched plate and walk away while my sister's laughter followed me to my car. That night I sat in my studio apartment, the one Laura called the shoebox, and opened my laptop with shaking hands. My business plan stared back at me. Right Way Consulting, helping small businesses navigate digital transformation. I had $12,000 in savings, a client list of exactly 0, and a family who thought I was delusional. My phone buzzed. Mama's text read, "Baby, she didn't mean it like that." She did. Laura had been doing this since we were kids. When I made honor roll, she made dean's list. When I got my associate's degree, she went to Wharton. When I bought my used Camry, she leased a BMW. Everything was a competition I never entered. But this comment at the barbecue? This was different. This was public humiliation. The next morning, I drove to every small business in South Philadelphia I could find. Barber shops, beauty salons, corner stores, family restaurants. "Do you have a website? Do you take online orders? Can people book appointments digitally?" Most didn't. By sunset, I had 3 clients willing to pay $500 each for basic websites. It wasn't much, but it was something. Over the next 6 months, Laura's words became my fuel. Every family gathering, she'd ask loudly, "How's that little hobby going?" while sipping wine that cost more than my weekly grocery budget. "Still got that tiny apartment?" she'd add, her eyes gleaming. Mama would change the subject. Daddy would turn up the TV. And I'd sit there, silent, building my empire one small business at a time. Amos showed up at my apartment on a random Tuesday evening in March, holding 2 bags of Chinese takeout. I almost didn't let him in. He'd laughed at me too that day. "Before you slam the door," he said quickly, "I owe you an apology. A real one." I let him in, suspicious. We sat on my thrift store couch while he explained. "I work in IT for the city, right? And last week I saw something weird. 3 different department heads talking about this consultant who's revolutionizing their vendor management systems. Guess whose name kept coming up?" I stared at him. "Right Way Consulting. Shayna, you're doing work for the city and didn't tell anybody." "They found me through referrals," I said quietly. "I didn't apply for any government contracts." Amos laughed, shaking his head. "That's even more impressive. You know what Laura would do if she landed a city contract? She'd rent a billboard on Broad Street. He got serious then. I need to tell you something about your sister. Something I heard at Christmas when you left early. My stomach dropped. What? She was talking to Aunt Gloria in the kitchen. Said she makes those comments because watching you fail would prove she was right to play it safe. She's terrified you might actually succeed. I felt something shift in my chest. She wants me to fail? She needs you to fail, Amos corrected. Her whole identity is being the successful one. If you make it, what does that make her? That conversation planted a seed that would grow into something dangerous. 9 months after that barbecue, I walked into a conference room at Blackwell Industries, a manufacturing company doing $50 million annually in revenue. Their CEO, Mr. Gerald Blackwell, was 63, white-haired and intimidating as hell. Miss Wright, I'll be honest. We've worked with McKinsey, Deloitte, all the big names. Why should I hire a one-woman operation? I didn't flinch. Because those firms bill you $300 an hour for fresh MBA graduates to implement cookie-cutter solutions. I bill half that and actually understand small to mid-size operations. I've optimized systems for 37 businesses in the last year. Not one has left for a competitor. He studied me for a long moment. What's your average ROI improvement? 43% within 6 months. His eyebrows rose. Prove it. I spent the next hour walking him through case studies showing real numbers, real testimonials. When I finished, he leaned back and smiled. My daughter runs a nonprofit. She needs someone like you. But first, let's see what you can do for us. 3-month trial. $25,000. I nearly fell out of my chair. My biggest contract before this was $8,000. I'll have a proposal by Friday, I managed. I want it by Wednesday, he countered. And Ms. Wright? Don't make me regret taking a chance on you. I didn't. 6 weeks later, I'd streamlined their supply chain so efficiently they saved $200,000 in the first quarter. Mr. Blackwell called me into his office on a Thursday afternoon. How would you feel about an expansion project? $50,000. And I'm introducing you to 4 other CEOs. That's when everything changed. Thanksgiving 2019. Laura arrived at Mama's house in her BMW, wearing a designer dress I recognized from Instagram. I pulled up in my same Camry, carrying sweet potato pie I'd stayed up until 2 a.m. making. Still driving that hoop tie? Laura called out loud enough for the neighbors. I ignored her, but my jaw tightened. Inside, the interrogation began immediately. Uncle Jerome cornered me by the collard greens. Shayna, when you gonna get a real job? You can't consult forever. Before I could answer, Laura swept in. Uncle Jay, don't pressure her. Some people are late bloomers. Very late. She emphasized those last words while adjusting her Cartier bracelet. Aunt Gloria chimed in. Laura just made senior manager. Youngest in her department's history. That's wonderful, I said flatly. Mama shot me a warning look that said, be nice. All through dinner it continued. Laura's accomplishments announced like breaking news. My silence interpreted as failure. When she described her new condo in Center City, 2 bedrooms, rooftop access, real hardwood floors, she looked directly at me. Must be nice to have space, right, Shay? That's when I snapped. Not loudly. Not dramatically. I simply stood, placed my napkin down and said, I'm leaving. Baby, we haven't had pie yet, Mama protested. I need to prepare for a board meeting Monday. Gerald Blackwell wants me to present to Blackwell Industries' entire leadership team. It's my biggest contract yet. The room went silent. Gerald Blackwell? Daddy said slowly. The Gerald Blackwell? That's wonderful, honey. Mama beamed. Laura's smile didn't reach her eyes. Board meeting. That's cute. But I saw something flicker across her face. Something that looked like fear. I found out by accident. January 2020, I was at Aunt Gloria's house helping her set up online banking when I saw it. An email from Laura on Gloria's iPad left open. Subject: about Shayna's business. My hands shook as I read it. Angie, I'm worried about Shayna. This consulting thing is clearly failing. She's still in that apartment, still driving that car. I think we need to stage an intervention before she wastes all her savings. Can you talk to Mama about getting her back into banking? I'd do it myself, but she's so sensitive about me being successful. Maybe it'll sound better coming from you. The date? November 22nd. 4 days before Thanksgiving. It wasn't just the barbecue. It wasn't just casual cruelty. This was orchestrated. Calculated. My sister had been actively sabotaging my reputation with our family for months, maybe years. I scrolled up. More emails. Dozens of them. July 2019. Shayna missed Amos's birthday party because of work. More like she couldn't afford a gift. September 2019. She's losing weight. Probably can't afford groceries. Should we help? Every observation twisted, every absence reframed as failure. She'd been building a narrative. Shayna is struggling, Shayna is failing, Shayna needs saving. And the family had believed her because why wouldn't they? Laura was successful, educated, responsible. I sat there in Aunt Gloria's guest room, my vision blurring. This wasn't sibling rivalry. This was systematic destruction. Shayna? You okay, baby? Gloria called from downstairs. I deleted my search history, cleared the screen, and went downstairs with a smile that felt like broken glass. I'm perfect, I said. Something crystallized that day in Aunt Gloria's house. I stopped trying to prove myself to my family and started building something they couldn't deny. In February 2020, right before the pandemic hit, I hired my first employee, a brilliant developer named Jamal Peterson who'd been laid off from a corporate job. I can't pay you much, I admitted, but I can offer equity. Equity in what? He asked. In the future, I said. Help me scale this and we'll both win. When COVID hit in March, most businesses panicked. I saw opportunity. Every restaurant, salon, boutique, they all needed to go digital immediately. I worked 18-hour days, 7 days a week. Jamal built websites and apps while I handled strategy and client relations. We charged reasonable rates, delivered fast, and word spread like wildfire. By June we had 47 clients. By September 83. By December 2020, Right Way Consulting had 15 employees and had grossed $2.3 million. I finally moved out of my studio. Not to something flashy, a modest 2-bedroom in West Philly. But it was mine. Laura heard through the family grapevine. She called me for the first time in months. Hey stranger. Heard you're doing well. We should grab coffee, catch up. Her voice was honey-sweet, but I heard the undertone. She needed to assess the threat. I'm slammed, Laura. Maybe next month. You're always so busy now, she said, and I heard it, that edge of resentment. Some of us still make time for family. I hung up and got back to work. Let her stew. March 2021. Gerald Blackwell called me to his office, but this time his daughter Melissa was there too. She ran the Blackwell Foundation, focusing on economic development in underserved communities. Shayna, you've done remarkable work for us, Gerald began. But Melissa and I see something bigger. You're not just fixing businesses, you're transforming communities. Every business you touch employs people, serves neighborhoods, builds wealth. Melissa leaned forward. We want to invest $2 million in Right Way Consulting. In exchange for 20% equity, we'll provide capital, connections, and credibility. We'll help you scale nationally. I couldn't breathe. Why me? Because you understand something those big firms don't. Gerald said. Economic empowerment isn't about charity. It's about capability. You don't just give people fish. You teach entire communities to fish, then help them build the damn fishing industry. I thought about Laura's words, begging on streets by 40. I was 28. I have one condition, I said. What's that? Melissa asked. We establish a philanthropic arm, Right Way Foundation. For every dollar we earn, we invest 10% back into free consulting for struggling minority-owned businesses. Gerald smiled. Done. I'll have my lawyers draft papers. When I left that building, I sat in my car, a new Honda Accord, nothing flashy, and cried. Not from relief or joy. From rage. Rage at every family gathering where they pitted me. Rage at Laura's systematic cruelty. Rage at my own family's willingness to believe I was failing. I channeled that rage into fuel. By 2023, Right Way had offices in Philadelphia, Atlanta, and Chicago. We employed 63 people. Our revenue hit $18 million. The Right Way Foundation had provided free consulting to over 200 minority-owned businesses. Forbes did a profile, 30 under 30. Shayna Wright, the consultant revolutionizing small business. I was 30 years old. My net worth was approximately $12 million. And I hadn't been to a family gathering in 2 years. Mama called weekly. Baby, when you coming by? Everybody asks about you. I'm traveling, Mama. Work. You work too much. Laura says. I cut her off. I don't care what Laura says. Silence. Then quietly, she's your sister, Shayna. Is she? I asked. Because sisters support each other. Sisters don't spend years trying to destroy each other's reputation. What are you talking about? But I could hear in her voice that she knew. On some level she'd always known. That summer Amos called. Yo, you need to know something. Laura got laid off. My heart skipped. What? Henderson and Price did layoffs. She's been out of work for 3 months. She's not telling the family, still pretending everything's fine. But she's drowning. Lost the condo. Had to move back with Mama. I should have felt vindication. That I felt nothing. Just a hollow space where anger used to be. Thanks for telling me, I said. You gonna do anything? Like what? I don't know. Help her. I laughed bitterly. She spent years praying I'd fail. Now she wants help. October 2024. I was in our Philadelphia office reviewing expansion plans when my assistant Kira knocked. Someone's here to see you. No appointment. Says she's your sister. My blood turned to ice. Send her in. Laura walked into my office and I barely recognized her. The designer clothes were gone, replaced by jeans and a Target sweater. Her hair, usually immaculate, was pulled back in a simple ponytail. She'd lost weight. Not the good kind. Nice office, she said, looking around at the exposed brick, the modern furniture, the city view. Thanks. I didn't stand. Didn't offer her a seat. We stared at each other. Finally she spoke. I need a job. Excuse me. I'm a good consultant, Shayna. MBA from Wharton, 10 years at Henderson and Price, strong track record, until they laid you off. Her jaw tightened. Market conditions. It happened to everyone. Did everyone spend a decade humiliating their sister? The words hung between us like poison. Laura's eyes filled with tears. I was wrong. I was wrong about everything. I thought. She stopped, swallowed hard. I thought if you succeeded it meant I wasn't special anymore. I built my whole identity on being the smart one, the successful one. And when you started actually making it, you tried to destroy me, I finished. I tried to protect myself, she corrected. But I destroyed you instead. And I'm sorry. I'm so incredibly sorry. He was crying now. Real tears. Real remorse. And I felt absolutely nothing. You need to leave, I said quietly. Shayna, please. Now. She left. I sat there staring at my city and realized something. Success wasn't enough. I needed absolution. By early 2025, Rightway had been acquired by a private equity firm for $85 million. I retained the foundation and 20% equity in the company, walking away with enough money to do whatever I wanted for the rest of my life. I was 32 years old and worth approximately $103 million. The foundation became my focus. We'd helped over 1,000 businesses, created an estimated 7,000 jobs, and pumped nearly $40 million back into underserved communities. In March, we opened the Rightway Community Center in North Philadelphia, offering free business courses, computer skills training, job placement services, and entrepreneurship coaching. The opening ceremony was packed. City officials, local business owners, community leaders. Mama was there crying with pride. Daddy too, looking at me like he was seeing me for the first time. Amos, Aunt Gloria, even Uncle Jerome. Laura wasn't invited. During my speech, I told the truth. 5 years ago, someone told me I'd be begging on streets by the time I was 40. That cruelty became my fuel. Every business we help, every job we create, every family we empower, it's proof that your circumstances don't define you. Your determination does. The crowd erupted in applause. Afterward, Mama hugged me tight. I'm so proud of you, baby. And I'm so sorry. For what? For not defending you. For letting Laura. I knew what she was doing and I told myself it was just sibling rivalry. But it wasn't. It was cruel. And I should have stopped it. I held her while she cried. Forgiveness felt like exhaling after holding my breath for years. Yesterday morning, I was driving to the foundation office on Market Street when I saw her. Corner of 15th and Market. Rush hour traffic. Cold April rain. Or holding a cardboard sign. Unemployed MBA. Anything helps. God bless. I nearly crashed my car. For a moment I just sat there at the red light staring. She looked worse than she had in my office 6 months ago. Thinner. Older. Defeated. The light turned green. Someone honked. I pulled over 2 blocks away, hands shaking on the steering wheel. My sister, the woman who'd spent years predicting my homelessness, was actually on the streets. The irony was so sharp it could draw blood. I sat there for 20 minutes, warring with myself. Part of me, the part that remembered every humiliation, every cruel comment, every orchestrated attack, wanted to drive past. To let karma finish what it started. But another part, the part that Mama raised, the part that built a foundation on empowerment rather than revenge, couldn't do it. I pulled out my phone and called Amos. I need you to do something for me. An hour later, Amos approached Laura on that corner. I watched from my car as he handed her an envelope. Inside, a check for $50,000 and a note. This isn't charity. It's a loan. Pay it back when you can. The Rightway Foundation offers free career counseling, job training, and business development services. First appointment is Monday at 9 a.m. Don't be late. Monday at 9 a.m. Laura showed up. I wasn't there. I had Kira handle the intake interview. But I watched on the security camera as my sister, humbled and broken, filled out forms in our waiting room. He came every day that week. Career counseling Tuesday. Resume workshop Wednesday. Interview prep Thursday. By Friday, our job placement coordinator had lined up 3 interviews. 2 weeks later, she got hired, not at a prestigious consulting firm, but at a nonprofit doing community development. $35 an hour. She'd been making 6 figures at Henderson and Price. On her first day she came to my office. "Can I come in?" I nodded. She sat down, hands clasped in her lap. "I don't know how to thank you." "Don't thank me. This is what we do. You're just another client." "I'm not, though. I'm your sister. The sister who tried to destroy you." I leaned back in my chair. "Why'd you do it, Laura?" "Really?" She was quiet for a long time. "Finally, because Mama always loved you more. You were the baby, the sweet one. I was just the ambitious one. I thought if I could be successful enough, impressive enough, maybe I'd matter too. And when you started succeeding without trying, without the right schools or connections, it broke something in me." "I tried plenty," I said softly. "I tried every single day. I know that now." She wiped her eyes. "I'm going to pay back every cent. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life making this right." "You can't make it right," I said. "But you can move forward." She nodded and stood to leave. At the door she turned back. "For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. I should have said that years ago." After she left, I sat at my desk, overlooking the city I'd conquered, the empire I'd built from spite and determination, and finally I let it go. All of it. The rage, the hurt, the need for revenge. Laura didn't end up begging on streets by 40. She ended up saved by the sister she tried to destroy. And somehow that felt like the greatest victory of all. Not because I'd won, but because I'd chosen mercy when I could have chosen revenge. That's what separated us. That's what made all the difference. The foundation expanded to 5 more cities that year. We helped over 3,000 businesses, created 20,000 jobs, transformed entire communities. And on every building, every office, every piece of literature, there was a quote I'd chosen carefully. "Success isn't about proving people wrong. It's about proving yourself right." Nobody needed to know that lesson cost me a sister, almost cost me my soul, but ultimately gave me everything I'd ever dreamed of and more. The streets never saw me begging, but they saw me building. And that made all the difference.